Welcome back to Y&R For Life, where we talk about all things Y&R related. We talk about what's going on, my predictions, what do I think's going to happen. Hey, we even talk about fashion on the show because I'm a big time fashion girl, so we got to spill the tea about that from time to time. If you're new to this channel, my question is, what took you so long to get here? And if you are returning, what's up? Long time no see. It's been one of those weeks, people. At the end of the week, it was complete chaos. Midweek, we had like a special episode, which I would have been more than happy to have just bypassed. But whatever, that's just my thing. So we're going to try and get through as much of it as possible and see where this takes us. If you like this type of content, you like what you see, you like what you hear, it would be so kind if you hit that like and subscribe button and smash that bell notification so that you don't miss a single video that I post here on Y&R For Life. And don't forget, share. Why? Because sharing is caring. At least I like to think so. My usual disclaimer, if you don't want to know what's going on, you'll want to get caught up on your own, this might not be what you want to see or hear, but I am so grateful that you are here. And lastly, if I forget something, it could be I plumb forgot or it just really wasn't that newsworthy. So we're going to get into it, see where this takes us. And again, I might flip from character to character in no particular order, and let's see where this goes. Okay, so who should we talk about first? Okay, let's talk about Ashley and Tucker. I'm laughing already. Oh boy, Ashley and Tucker. I do not get these guys whatsoever. I mean, just a mess. Okay, so Ashley is still trying to get some sort of intel from Tucker about what his plans are regarding Gibeau. Ashley, like I said last week, you may be like shady at times and can get things done, but you gotta wake up a little bit earlier in the morning to try and pull the wool over Tucker's eyes. He has made some faux pas, but yeah, good luck with that because I don't see it happening. And the fact that he doesn't trust you, you have apologized again this week. You were apologizing again. The two of them are at society, and yeah, Tucker, I'm so sorry. What role I played, and yet again we hear this story about Paris. I have consulted with some other people, in my circle over here. Like, do they recall anything concerning Paris as it pertains to Tucker flying off the handle and, Ashley being so scared for her life? The answer was no. So at this point, I want to say it was never shown. So Ashley, you're talking about how Tucker blew up and you were so afraid for your life. You need to give us a little bit more of the dish on this. Give us some more dirt because none of us know what happened. Okay, so Tucker is like, yeah, so, you want us to go for like manicures together or whatever. I swear, I believe that's what he said. And she's like, well, no, if anything, I hope through all this that we could at least be friends. Friends? He's like, I don't trust you. I don't trust you at all. Okay, fast forward. She says, so are you telling me that you never loved me? He never answered that question per se, but she's like, well, I guess since you can't answer it, I guess that's my answer. Wah. Ashley, yeah, okay, you probably still have the hots for Tucker, but because you couldn't let Gibeau go and start anew with your husband that you had of all of like 5 minutes, now you're like, you guess you never loved me at all. So Tucker, and this is the part that I just totally laughed. He's like, yeah, I don't trust you. I want nothing to do with you. Da 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 da. He leaves, and he is outside society. I'm like, Tucker, get a hold of yourself. Like, oh my goodness. He's and Ashley's like sitting at the bar just like meanwhile Tucker is outside getting wailing on the bricks. Oh, that was like my funny for the week. Him and Aunt Mamie. We'll get to her. Oh gosh. So Tucker got a hold of himself real quick and he left. Okay. So then let's backtrack for a minute to Kyle and Audra and the fact that they had this meeting with Tucker, and it was all about Kyle making his pitch to work along with Tucker in his plan to siphon Jabot and like dismantle it in the whole 9 yards so that Kyle and Audra can then run Jabot. And, he'll be like, yeah. So Kyle says whatever, and Tucker's like, yeah, I'm not buying any of this, because why would you work along with me to basically like get rid of your father? And this is, in theory, you're like your birthright kind of thing. And he's like, I'll do whatever. I was cast aside, and, Billy has my job, and I'm not taking a meager COO position when I was co-CEO. I mean, isn't that maybe just like a step below? Like, Kyle, get over it. But okay. You left Jabot to, in theory, work along with Summer at Marquette. That was in Jabot. Oh, people, I don't know if I'm going to get through this episode because there were so many funnies. Okay, so, like I said, you ended up working along with Summer, but now that whole marriage has gone womp, and you're dipsy doodling with Audra, who literally dipsy doodles around with anybody that's wearing some pants and and is in some sort of top level status. But whatever, you're dipsy doodling around with her, having your little fun, and I don't even know what's that getting you outside of, a little bit of whatever. But I digress. So eventually, they end up their little meeting because Audra's like, look, Tucker, you're going to do whatever you want to do. Because Tucker asked her, well, what's your take on this? Tucker, you're going to do whatever you want to do. Like, at the end of the day, nobody can tell you what to do. And, like, it is what it is. So I think he's probably thinking maybe he will give Kyle a chance. However, brap on the door was Devon. Okay, we got to backtrack again. Beginning of the week was the fact that Devon and Lily agreed to meet with Slaminate. And Slaminate ends up telling them how he saw this text message from Tucker to Aunt Mamie, and they're going to be meeting up, and like, this looks very shifty and shady and the whole 9 yards. Devon was like, I ain't having this. I'm going to go and see my dad. So that's when he brap on the door and totally kiboshed the meeting with Kyle and Audra. And Tucker was like, no, no, they were just leaving. Okay, like, side note, anytime on these shows they go, they were just leaving, aren't you? You know they're up to no good. They are up to no good. You, they're just leaving, aren't you? They toddle off. Devon comes in. They have like maybe the smallest feel good moment, like, hi, how you doing? And then Devon's like, look, I'm just gonna ask you one more time, and you better tell me the truth, because like I ain't having this no more. Like, what is the deal with you and Aunt Mamie? Like, what is going on? Well, he's like, oh, well, nothing. You know, uh, sh- I messaged her and we're going to meet. I actually expect her any moment now. And we were going to talk about you. He's like, me? Well, yeah, because, I'm trying to bridge the gap between the fact that, like our dissension, and I'm trying for us to get back together and be like a good, uh, dad and son, and that's never going to happen. We know this. His little grandfather of the year when baby Dominic had his little, what was his little music concert or whatever. Like, okay, that's been there, done that. Like, you're back to your old ways. Okay, so Devon's like, basically, it's like, you're a liar. You're a liar. You're always going to be a liar. You're a liar now. Like, all I'm going to say to you is, like, stay away from Aunt Mamie. So Tucker's like, well, yeah, I just thought, who better to ask than, your aunt. Devon's like, she's not my aunt. I got adopted into the family. Matter of fact, she doesn't even really know me. Yeah. So, but I suspect that whatever thing she was doing with good intentions, and basically you're gonna soil her up and like leave her alone, leave her out of your plans. So Devon leaves, and there's Aunt Mamie. Oh, Devon, because she was getting ready to go up to see Tucker. Now, Devon's like, look, Aunt Mamie, I'm gonna say to you is Tucker can't be trusted, and just basically run for the hills. Okay, so Aunt Mamie, she ends up speaking to Tucker because she had some tea or coffee or whatever with Ashley at the Abbott estate. And Ashley was going on about Paris once again. How Tucker is a very bad man, and how he frightened her, and Aunt Mamie's like, oh, Ashley, you should never have to deal with that. Nobody should ever treat you like that. Ashley, my girl. No. I mean, I know Jackie didn't like him, but to hear this, oh no, no, Ashley. And Ashley's there, she's got like, like the tears getting ready to like just drop, bam, probably right into her tea or coffee, but she's like, she kind of looked like Puss in Boots. What happened in Paris? Come on. Ashley, no. My girl, stay away from Tucker. It's bad news. Now that I know this information, I mean, I knew he had his ways, but to treat you like this. Oh, I'm so glad that you are rid of him. So Aunt Mamie, she toddles on over to the club, to Tucker's room, basically to confront him. And Tucker's like, yeah, the only way that, you know, you're going to get what you want is, of course, if Jill is out of Chancellor Winters. And furthermore, I'm I'm rich. Tucker's like, I'm rich. How do you propose that you're going to do this? Tucker, you think that I can't do anything with you're out of here. I'm done with you. I should have been done with you from before. Don't underestimate me. And she was about ready to throw down with Tucker. And Tucker with his, I'm rich. Yeah, I was just like, okay, we're going to see. Because, Mamie calls herself Miss M when Miss M's back in town. Okay. Okay, Mamie. Okay, so that was pretty much that. Okay, scene filler. I mean, it was your little feel good moment with baby Aria. The fact that pretty much near the ending of the week, she got fitted with some hearing aids, and immediately, like bewitched, she was able to hear. And I'm so grateful because, quite frankly, that whole storyline came out of left field. And we even saw Tessa, after baby Aria had these hearing aids put in, she sang her little ditty to Aria, and Aria was able to hear her mommy's voice. And again, feel good moment. So they end up going to the coffee house because they were there originally. They went back to the coffee house with baby Aria and her hearing aids in order to see Grandma Sharon. And Sharon was like, I think she heard me. And she said that she was all prepared and she was signing. I'm going to do this very incorrectly, but she was signing grandmother. And yeah, she was all prepared to basically do some sign language for her granddaughter. And that didn't have to happen because baby Aria heard her. Okay, so at some point in time, Mariah sat with Kyle at society, caught up a little bit, and then basically found out that Kyle, he had some plan in the works. And she's like, look, I really don't see you as like the devious kind, and I've never seen you that way. And, just be careful with whatever you're doing, and, hug, hug. And that was pretty much that. Again, scene filler. Let me get the whole midweek story out the way, which was Cricket, and the fact that she's reeling over the fact that her marriage is over with Paul. So that whole, at least on my end, it would have been Wednesday's episode, was all about her and Paul, her and Danny. It was just like Cricket overload. for playing the role of Christine Blair. And so it was a whole bunch of, in retrospect, dreams. I mean, at least we got to see Paul, in some reruns. But other than that, yeah, I didn't quite care for it. It just was, to me, it was just odd. And then they had Nina in the show where she just showed up from. I don't know. So they had Nina and they had Lauren, and they were like the two besties in order to try and help her get through this whole thing. So I'm not even gonna put too much airtime on this because that was what it was. And yeah, so she ends up meeting with Danny, and Danny, he wants to get with her, and they were like, "Oh, this is Nina and Lauren. Oh, is there a chance that there could be like some rekindling? Oh, I don't know. We're gonna see where that goes. I don't quite care for it, but it is what it is. Phyllis clearly wants Danny. Danny is sitting back. Do-gooder Danny doesn't want to disappoint anybody, but I know he's got his little eyes on Cricket and the fact of what could be. Okay, moving right along. We saw, oh my gosh, I feel like an instant headache coming on. Sally Spectra. Sally, once again, girlfriend to girlfriend, we have to talk. Okay, you slept with Adam. We know this. He wakes up late. Nate texts him saying, "You planning on coming into work?" He's like, "Oh, geez, like, where's the time gone?" And yeah. So he gets up. Sally's still in La La Land. And basically, they eventually talk very briefly about the night that they, spent together. And the fact that he's like, "Oh, I haven't slept that soundly in a long time." I mean, come to think of it, yeah, I mean, we were up pretty much most of the night. And Sally was like, yeah, so we know they were hitting the skins. We get it. But Sally, how is it so easy for you to go from brother to brother? Okay, so you went from brother to brother, back to brother. Follow me. Adam to Nick, Nick to Adam. Like, what are you doing? Like, you had just professed your alleged love to Nick, and then before you know it, just because he gives you like the opportunity to explore, if you will, your feelings, he didn't tell you to go and sleep with. He didn't say that. "Sally, go sleep with Adam, get it out your system, and then come back and sleep with me." I mean, ew. That never happened. So, what were you thinking? What? Oh, you are a mess, girl, a mess. But I will say this. And shout out to who had commented last week about, Audra's coat being like on point, and the fact that, we both wish that they would give Sally like an outfit to really go along, bring out her hair. I think they actually did it this week. Like her little bodycon dress. Ooh, that looks so good with her hair color. Like, there's parts of the dress that matched her hair color to a T. And it was like hugging in all the right places. Like, bravo, bravo, stylist. You listened. So Sally was looking on point. Her hair was almost retro with a few little waves in it, and she just looked good. Her makeup was precise. Just bravo. Anyway, so she ends up again having the conversation with Adam about, I don't even know if they had a big conversation, the fact that they slept together, they whatever, but she he kind of goes his way. He says he doesn't regret it and whatever. So at some point throughout that morning, if you will, she bumps into Nick. And Nick ends up, having a conversation with her back in her room, given talking about um, Adam and Daddy-O, and the fact that he found out that Adam had hired some sort of doctor or psychiatrist or whomever. I'm not even going to get it straight. But, hired this doctor in order to verify Victor's mental state and whatnot. So, yeah. Sally ends up telling Nick that Adam told her this, that, like, she gave a rundown. Boom, 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 boom. He told her this. And he's like, well, that's a lot of sensitive information that he gave you. I'm very surprised that he would do that. And then he kind of puts two and two together and realizes that, yeah, they must have hit the skins at some point in time because, yeah, because he's like, oh, so you clearly took my advice and were exploring your feelings towards Adam. Well, she couldn't say a word. Sally, you couldn't say a word because you knew he knew. I digress. So Nick is feeling some sort of ways, which why wouldn't he? But again, that whole relationship was weird. I really wanted it to work out. I really did. Because do I think that Nick is the better brother for her? Yes. Because I think that once Nick, as long as he sees dedication and, respect, that he would faster stick with that. Although, can we really talk about his relationship with Sharon when he ended up cheating on her and went with Phyllis? But, oh, okay. But that was because when they lost Cassie, they weren't in the best headspace, neither one of them. So, okay. And I am not, please people, I am not an advocate of cheating. I'm just saying that had occurred. But I was really rooting for Nick and Sally, but Sally just always looked like she just wasn't that into him like how she was with Adam. Like, I gotta call a spade, and that's just the way that I saw it. I was hoping for the best. It didn't happen. Will they go back together? Absolutely not. Um, don't see that happening whatsoever. She's gonna clearly get back with Adam, and the two of them might end up getting married, and who knows, ride off into the sunset together. I couldn't tell you. Okay, so that was that. Here's where things get like real flip floppy. Okay, before we get to the flip floppy, let's do the other scene filler. Chelsea's back. Oh God, help us all. Don't care for her character because she's another flip floppy one herself. She ends up seeing Billy, and they happen to have a little bit of time, and she still has her apartment up from the coffee house, and so they hit the skins. And Billy talks about how Kyle wants his job, da 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 da. That whole man, they need to wipe that clean. Because that thing was all over the board. I can't even tell you all the different things that happened with that because it's too numerous to talk about. All you need to know is that Kyle wants to get Billy out and get that job back. And if he could, in theory, get his father out to get his job, he will do that. That's all you really need to know. We're going to see where that goes. Okay, so further to the scene fillers is the fact that Chloe, she ends up with Summer, speaking about Marchetti and the whole design that for the new season. Summer is not feeling it, and Chloe basically is like, you got to trust us that we know what we're doing. And, if anything, just have like an open mind and vision. And Summer's like, look, are you saying that you have more experience than me? And, my vision is my vision, and I run Marchetti, and that's just what it is. So Chelsea, she comes in at some point in time. Chloe's like, thank God you're back. You got to deal with Summer. She's like a loose cannon. She's not willing to listen to reason. And yes, this is what's happening. Yeah. Don't even know why it's there. Didn't need to be there. I guess this was just welcoming Melissa's character back, but I didn't get it. So let's talk about the flip-floppy stuff now. And I dare say that's probably about it. With maybe a side plate of Claire Graves. Okay. So flip-floppy is Victor and his in and out of, reality versus he's gone insane. And this just, I feel like Friday's episode was this almost like a tornado of this. It was just, oh my goodness, I couldn't even keep track. What, like 1 minute he's like, what are you doing? And the next minute, oh, what's happening to me? Oh no, you're trying to get me out of my company. Next minute, oh, what? Like he just went back and forth like a ping pong match. And I couldn't keep track of it because 1 minute the kids are here, they're working together, and the next minute they're separate. Just Nate's in the mix. Oh my god, this thing just went on for the entire episode. It was too much. Well, by the end of it, Victor ends up saying, bringing them all to the office and saying, it is time to let you know what is going on. Okay, Victor, what? So now Adam, Nicholas, Victoria, Slaminate, and Nikki are in Victor's office, and he says this. So we don't know because that's pretty much how it ended, but next week we'll figure out what the hell Victor is talking about. It is too much. Just prior to that, again, there's so much regarding that. I would never be able to keep track of it for you, but just know he's now lucid again, and he's going to now tell them whatever. Just nuts. So just prior to that, Claire Graves, again, I believe that's her last name, she sees Nikki staring out into the wild blue yonder And, she's like, Nikki, are you okay? Yada, yada, yada. And Nikki, yeah, no, I'm okay. I'm fine. Well, push forward. She ends up at the coffee house getting coffee for Nikki. Weird. Do they not have coffee at Newman? Because I know they have a break room. Why? Because I've seen it before. And I've seen Victor go into the break room and Victoria be in the break room. And it is the thinnest break room ever. So she's at Crimson Lights getting a coffee order for Nikki. And just then she gets a phone call. Sharon's in front of her. She's like, oh, duty calls. She's like, something like that. So she wanders off onto the patio and takes this call, this ominous call from some secret person who I believe we can tell is a guy. Now, who could it be? I don't have any real predictions on this, but could it be Dylan? I don't know, because I don't even think she even said her last name was Graves. She said a different last name. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to go and rewatch it. But at some point in the conversation, she's like, I love you too. And she almost did whatever, and who knows? So I told you she's up to something. Like, she has to. All these photographs of the whole Newman family, she's got to be up to something very devious. So anyway, she ends up in the hallway and there's Slimy Nate. And he's like, oh, paying attention to where you're going now, aren't you? And she ends up saying to him something to the effect like, she feels that she may have, overstepped where Nikki's concerned, may have asked her too many personal questions. And Nate's like, I wouldn't worry about it. Nikki's not like that, da 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 da. And Nick, what? Yes, she is. But I guess not to Claire. And so Claire says to Nate, well, hopefully this won't be too forward, but would you mind, seeing me outside of the office so that you can kind of, steer me in the right direction concerning Nikki and the Newmans and whatnot? And he's like, well, it's really not that difficult to figure out. And then eventually he's like, well, you know what? No problem. At some point in time, we can, meet up. Dum, dum, dum. Slimy Nate, you're also not the brightest bulb. Because if you don't see what's going on here, I can't help you. So, we're going to see where that goes. Because clearly, Claire, if that's your real name, is up to something. Victor is a loose cannon. Sally, she is a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs right now. This whole thing is just messy, messy, messy. But you like it, just like me. Anyway, if you stuck around to the end of this video, I am so, so grateful. I love you lots. And we're going to see what happens within the coming week. See where this bumpy ride is going to take us. So, like I said, if you like this type of content, you like what you see, you like what you hear, it would be so kind if you hit that like and subscribe button, smash that bell notification so that you don't miss a single video that I post here on Y&R For Life. And again, share, share, share. Why? Because sharing is caring. At least I like to think so. It has been a complete blast. I look forward to the next video, and I will see you later. Bye.